Hi, this is David Strachan-Olson, the current Cal Band alumni drum major. Thank you all for signing up to March at Halftime for Alumni Band Day. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to use the online CalChart viewer and the continuity generation feature. So in the email you should have received with me with the block list, there should also be a link to the CalChart viewer. When you click that link, it should take you exactly to a page like this. If for whatever reason it doesn't, what you can actually do is go to Google and you can actually search CalChart viewer. Go ahead and search. And the first result should be this CalChart viewer from the GitHub page. So once that loads, you'll see there's no show currently loaded. And so what you come over here is it says auto load showed. You'd click that and you want to find the alumni version, Pillars of Rock in this case. So click that, it'll load up and we'll be in the exact same position. So what I'm going to start with is actually start with how to generate a continuity for your dot. So you'll see this page, and what you want to do is scroll down until you see this show my dot. And right now it says none. Go ahead and click on that and enter the dot that you were assigned on the block list. So let's say E4 was the dot I was assigned. Go ahead and click that. On the preview, it'll kind of show you where you are in the first dot sheet. And then we're going to come down and click this generate continuity for E4. Go ahead and click that. This loaded right here, and you can go ahead and download it. So click this. And then I like to just label it whatever the dot was. So I'm going to label it E4. We'll save that. And then go ahead and open that up. And so what this has done is it's created this custom PDF of instructions for .e4 for the alumni versions of Pillar of Rock. I'm going to just quickly go over the pages. So page 1 is this kind of bird's eye overview of the page. You can see there's one dot kind of darkened over all of them. And this just shows you where you are generally in all the formations. Page 2 and page 3 are the more detailed information of exactly what your dot does during the show. So that's page 3. And then page 4 is kind of an overview of your continuity, the actual movements you're making. What I suggest is that you actually print out and bring with you to Alumni Band Day the detailed continuity pages. And so for that, you can just click the printer icon, pages, custom. In this case, it's 2 to 3. You'll see this would capture both of these. So I recommend printing this out and actually bringing it with you to Alumni Band Day. Or at the very least, downloading it to your phone so you can look at it during rehearsal. So I'm going to go a little bit more into depth about these detailed pages. So you can actually see this page is cut up into 4 pieces. The top left is stunt sheet 1. The top right is stunt sheet 2. Bottom left, stunt sheet 3. Bottom right, stunt sheet 4. And so this whole top left section is all about stunt sheet 1 and the kind of first things you're going to be doing in the show. And so I'm going to break down what's in each of these corners. So the first thing you have is what I would call the poop sheet continuity. So this is kind of the more general overview, exactly what you're doing as it comes to the show. Over here on the left is the calculated movements of the poop sheet. So this is what CalChart is calculating your dot to actually be doing. Down here at the bottom, you see kind of cropped view of stunt sheet 1. So you're here, E4, on stunt sheet 1. Now you might be wondering, where am I in like the bigger field? And what you can actually do to look at that is, if you remember, a football field starts at 0, goes up to 50, goes down to 0. So you can see here the number 45, then 40, 35 as we go to the south. So that means we are out south of the 50. And then to determine where you are east to west, this is, if you look up here, you'll see this 12E east H. And what this means is 12 east of the east hash. And this image right here is kind of an overview of the actual movement you'll be making from stunt sheet 1 to stunt sheet 2. So the open circle is where you are on stunt sheet 1, and the X is where you're going to be on stunt sheet 2. So in this case, this person has something nice and easy. On stunt sheet 1, they're going to be 12 east of the east hash, 2 south of the 40, the south 40. And then by stunt sheet 2, they're going to be 14 east of the east hash, 2 outside the south 40. And so now I'm going to kind of explain what's in these two continuity boxes. So this first one is what I kind of actually more wrote as the drum major trying to teach you the show. So the very beginning, we have this is a new song, so Sweet Child of Mine. And then we have this series of kind of commands. So this 1/1 means measure 1, beat 1. You're going to stand and play 40 west. So 40 beats of just standing and playing to the west. Pretty easy. And that will be at the stunt sheet 1 position. Then at measure 11, beat 1, you are going to mark time high step, that's the MTHS, for 32 beats to the west. So you're going to be standing there for 40 beats, marking time for 32 beats. Pretty easy so far. And then at measure 19 is actually where we get a little bit more complicated. So this FMHS stands for forward march high step. And then you would be going east-west first and then north-south to stunt sheet 2. And so what this means is normally if you got a PDF of a poop sheet, you would have to actually calculate out how far you have to go east or west first and then north or south to get from stunt sheet 1 to stunt sheet 2. But this online generator will actually calculate that for you. And that's where you can come down to this calculated continuity. So the first thing it says it's calculated is there's kind of a mark time 72 west. Now, the upper commands will supersede that. So it's actually not a mark time. It's a stand and play and then a mark time for 40 plus 32 is that's where it gets the 72. So basically, CalChart, the calculated version doesn't have a way to say stand and play. So it's just saying don't move for 72, which lines up to the printed commands. And then at measure 19 is where we'd actually have to calculate the movement we'd be doing. But we can see it automatically generated. It says move to east. And we know it's high step because this command says high step up here. So it's pretty simple. You're just going here, and then at measure 19, you're going to take 2 steps to the east. And then in brackets over here, you'll see this MTHSE. And what this means is mark time high step east. So for the remainder of the beats of this stunt sheet, you would mark time to the east. And that's where you see this mark time 30 east. And that would be in high step. So I know that can be a little confusing. The basic idea is this upper command is what you want to go by first. And then if there's anything that ever is this FMHS or forward march mini military, which you'll see over here on stunt sheet 2, east, west, north, south, or north, south, east, west, that's when you want to come down to the calculated continuity and see what it calculated for you to do. If in a case you would actually not move from stunt sheet 1 to 2, you just happen to be one of those lucky people that just stays in the exact same position, it would just add to the mark time section. You probably just see a second thing that just says mark time 32. And so that's how you read this thing. Well, let's kind of together look through stunt sheet 2. So we'll come here. I guess one thing I should say first is, so this upper continuity, so as you look over this, I would highly recommend printing this out, but then also writing these into your music at these moments. So if you print out your music, you could say, oh, at measure 1, I'm going to stand and play for 40 beats to the west, so 10 measures. Then at measure 11, I'm going to do a mark time high step 32 west, so 8 measures of marking time, and so on and so on. So I would actually write these commands into your music. So together, let's just temporarily look at stunt sheet 2. So you can see we have a new song, Living on a Prayer. At measure 27, we're going to close 16 east. Then at measure 31, we're going to mark time mini military. That's at MM for 32 east. And then at measure 39, we're going to go forward march mini military, north-south first, then east-west to stunt sheet 3. And so you can see when you actually come down to the calculated continuity, it is a very, very big move. It is 60 north. We're going from the center of the field all the way up towards the north end zone. And so that's why it'll be such a big move. And now if you ever want to double check, like especially during Saturday morning rehearsal, like did you do it right, is you have to remember that, so this image down here is stunt sheet 2, but stunt sheet 3 is actually down here. So after this big move of 60 north and then 2 west, you will end up in this formation. And you can see you're in a big north-south row of all your E friends. So you got E3 on one side of you and E5 on the other side of you. So this can be good to help reference during rehearsal to make sure you're ending up in the right position. And so that's these kind of automated generated continuities. There's 8 stunt sheets, but really during the actual halftime show, there's only 5 that are the most relevant. And then we're going to have 2 sets of jog to get into some blocks before we do the script California. I will say that on stunt sheet 7, which is the script California stunt sheet, it will say stand and play intro west. This person happens to be in the A, and the people in the A will do a mark time high step 32 west before they start following the leader to stunt sheet 8. In the email I sent to you, there is also a PDF of a poop sheet, kind of a more classic poop sheet. And I have that up here. And if you look at that, it'll kind of give you a more detailed view of what's actually happening during script California. So CalChart just has a little bit difficulty representing this in an easy way. So you can see our person E4 is right here. So if you to look here, it has the same command. So they're going to mark time high step 32 west. So after they're going to stand and play intro all, and then they'll mark time 32 to the west. And then they'll follow the leader B7. And if you look here, they're going to come across and then follow this column up into make the A. So it can be helpful just to reference this poop sheet just for script California. If you want, you can actually print out this page to help you figure it out, but it's usually easy enough to figure out the day of. And so that's this continuity generation feature. Just to kind of review that, once you come to this main page, you want to just make sure this alumni version of the show is loaded. You'll come down here to show my dot, type in whatever your dot is. Let's say it's E5 this time. Go ahead and click that. And you'll click generate continuity for E5. It will load it, and you'll click download. We'll save E5. Then we'll go ahead and open that up. And you can see now we have the generated continuity for E5. And if you look at this page, they have slightly different. They're going to east and then to south in this first movement. So this is just a way for it to calculate slightly different moves for everyone. But then you could still have these references to actually your final position relative to everyone else in the front sheets. And once you have an idea of what's going on there, you can actually come back to this overview and use the viewer to kind of actually watch the show along. So we'll pretend I'm E4. Once you type E4 in here, you'll see this dot is highlighted, and that's actually going to be you if you were E4. And so you can actually click through the show by clicking next beat. You can see, that same commands are up here. So we have a lot of stand and play and then mark time. But then you can see at some point they're going to do their 2 to the east. There they go, 2, and there they are. So this is kind of an interesting way that you can watch what you are doing in relation to everyone else. And you can kind of slowly click forward, or you can click back with previous beat. And you can actually jump through the show by clicking next stunt sheet. As you can see here. And then we're going to come across, and there they go. And just all these people that are running off, those are all dancers. So if you're a dancer, you're going to be running around the side to come to the front to dance, which is why it looks a little strange in CalChart. The one last thing I'll say is that you can actually, there's this button, animate with music. And because this audio file is actually loaded, you can actually watch the show happen and watch your dot move throughout the show. So let's wait till this first move happens. So you can see, so that was just where the mark time started. So after 72 beats, that's when this forward march is. You can see here it doesn't show the generated continuity, just the command. So here we go, and here we go. And so that's how you use the viewer functionality. And now if you actually want to, if you're curious, you can actually come to this Pillars of Rock Show non-alumni version, click that, and it will load the entire show. Now I will say our block and some of the continuity is not loaded in here properly for the full show. So you'd have to kind of piece those two together, but it'll give you a general idea of what is going on. So you can see they have rock, and we are kind of these pillars formation, so that's fun. And then the next things you'll look like, in ours, it looks like we almost made two AirPods, but we're actually making is the base of this flaming music note. Throwback to the Guitar Hero show that will flame around. And then we are actually making a guitar. So after that big move, we're going to be an amp almost over here. They're going to come connect to the amp, and then they're going to rock out while we're kind of vamped. And then the next set sheet, we're actually kind of making a drum set. So we're kind of tom, snare drum over here. And then they're actually a bass drum and a cymbal. And you'll see them kind of rock out while we're holding down the music. And then the next set sheet, we're actually make this compass for any way you want it. We're north for the north end zone, just in case anyone's confused. They're making this compass, and then they're actually making these arrows that hopefully all goes well are going to be doing this giant gate turn. I've been talking to their drum major, and they're saying they're having a little bit of difficulty making sure this looks good, but they've got another week to work on it. So it should be fun. And so that's the show. And then we'll end with our script, California, which they don't have loaded in here. So hopefully that's helpful to how to use the online CalChart viewer and continuity generation features. Go Bears.